I met this 39-year-old dude, not even from the South. He's actually from Southern Illinois. Grew up a Colts fan. Now,
Hell yeah.
he is being regarded as one of the greatest young executives in all of everything. One of the founders of the Big Loud music label. Man who's been in music for 20 years. Friend of the program, Seth England. Yeah, Seth. Yeah, Seth. Way to go, Seth.
Side entrance.
Way to go, Seth. Coming through the think tank. I like that. Normally people come through the hallway. Seth is an innovator. Seth thinks differently.
Side door to
Seth's
Seth.
going to do his own thing. Yeah, Seth's going to do his own
Good
thing.
move.
Hey, appreciate you, man. No, not your bad. Good. This is what you do, Seth. You think outside the bar.
Trailblazing entrance.
Yes, I would say.
For sure.
I would say, yeah. Anytime anybody comes from the think tank, we'll say, hey, that was that big brain, big loud guy, Seth England's entrance whenever he was here. First of all, thank you for traveling up to the Thunderdome.
Thank you for having me. It's always an honor. Very cool place.
Thank you for being kind to me and the boys.
Oh, the boys are great. I thought I'd be nervous up here, but this is very comfortable.
It feels very similar to over there. You just got to remember, people will see this. Over there, nobody really sees. Here, people will see. People get caught up in that sometimes.
Sometimes.
Even some of us get caught up in that sometimes. You remember when Tone, at the beginning of the season, was like, is Aaron really? And we're like, yo.
Yeah.
We are live right now.
I
didn't say that. I didn't say that. So there is a little bit of like a kind of lost in where we are. Know that people can hear you and they can see you, and they should, by the way. You're a legend, and you've been very cool to us. So we are very, very thankful for that.
I don't know about all that, but thank you. My phone was blowing up, was it last week, where I got some nice compliments from the show. Some unfair words were thrown out about my style. I appreciate that.
Was that me?
Yes, I had teammates
Yeah.
from my college days that I've probably forgot about. They're watching this show religiously. So y'all's impact on football culture.
Yeah, what you play? You played football?
I did. I played in college. I was more on the music business track, but yeah, I played football all the way through college near St. Louis at Greenville University.
Are you a ball fan still?
Big ball fan. Actually, when I was in college, I was trying to decide about going to the music business or coaching, and I was very serious about it. I think I loved recruiting more, so I probably would have tried to stay in college if I'd done that.
Okay, so I don't want to ask like the cliche question, but how do you think your football experience has helped you with your record label executive world that you're in currently?
Well, it kind of does sound cliche, but there's actually a ton of parallels. Recruiting, number one. You know, when you're recruiting an athlete, you need to make them feel comfortable, make sure it's a mutual fit. You don't want to just force them to come somewhere where you know it's not going to work. The same is very true in music. And also, as you know, a lot of athletes and musicians become natural friends. It's very competitive. You kind of always have to have this always on edge, you know? And so like when we were hanging with Morgan in Indianapolis, I saw a ton of similarities between you and him and Tyrese. It was just different professions.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Morgan and Miranda Lambert and Hardy. Big Loud obviously has become this name in music that is obviously synonymous with success and awesome in my eyes. Everybody that I've met from your company and your business, cool. You're a suit, but I think you're like super cool suit, an innovative suit. I assume the music industry is very old school though. There's a lot of tradition and pageantry. How do you think you guys kind of have separated yourself, and why do you think you're having the success that you're having with Big Loud, and who's with you at Big Loud?
Yeah, it's called Big Loud. Well, there's three owners, myself, a man named Craig Wiseman, and a rock and roll legend named Joey Moy, who we borrowed in country music for about a decade and a half. We're now, unfortunately, sending him, outside of maybe Morgan and Hardy's music, sending him back to rock as he's making his own rock label in Los Angeles. We're so happy for him. But my path was very interesting. You know, again, musicians are a lot like ball players. Ball players can sniff out a coach if they're full of shit, you know, on different topics. And not that I know every single thing or can make music in the studio as good as Holman, who's here helping you out, or, you know, Joey Moy. But I understood it, and I went to college for music. So to have a little bit of appreciation for what they do, I think that's the first thing an athlete would want to know, a little bit of validation, appreciation from the coach. And that's your role you view as like a coach of Big Loud. Very much. I've probably had worse nicknames or very synonymous nicknames as you might find with a coach sometimes, just because I think, you know, not to sound cliche back, but I think you got to always compete against your best self. And that's very true in music, whether you're writing songs, you know, your live performance, no different in football. Okay, so let's talk about Morgan. Today was a huge day. Mm-hmm. He was just deemed the most successful country musician of all time, RIAA certified musician. You know what that means. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is I saw that he is the most certified country musician of all time in a streaming world, I think. And then he's the third largest artist of all time behind Taylor Swift, Drake, and then Morgan Wallen. He's obviously Big Loud. That's right. He has his own business, I believe, as well in the music world. But your ride with him has been through. Very much. I think from the beginning, right? And when you talk about coaching, it hasn't
always been where he is now. There's a lot of the other stuff. What has the ride with him been like, and what has it taught you maybe for the rest of the record label and how everything else goes?
Well, on a human level, he's one of the best dudes. Like, if he was here right now, I think he would just become everyone's best friend on the human side, you know? And I really enjoy getting to know him that way. We met him before he became popular, and we helped him with that ride. And so it's a very cherished experience for us to sort of always get to look in his eyes and know who's there than had we met him during this ride. But I'll say, you know, if I was to speak about his music skill like you might an athlete, he's all pro elite, first ballot Hall of Famer, not just because of the stats you mentioned, but his drive and his ability behind the scenes is second to none. And his natural skill, especially in singing, his taste in music it's still sharp.
Song selection's a big deal, right?
Huge deal.
And that separates the great from the good. Is that a part of being a talent, is figuring out what song is right for you or writing the right song as opposed to just performing it? Because I hear a lot of people outside the music world that go like, everybody can sing and everybody can play. It's just the people that got lucky are the ones that made it. When that's not necessarily true from your perspective, I'd assume.
There's certainly some serendipity in our business, just like others, but no, I don't think that's an accident. I think, and Morgan, one of his superpowers, I think he has a few, but one of them is his song selection. He has this ability. Certainly, like anybody else, they're going to love something they wrote, but he has this weird ability to not have that much more attachment to that than a piece of music he didn't write. And that, if you stop and think about it, if you were to paint a painting or something, you're going to be emotionally invested. If you spent hours trying to, you know, when you write songs, you feel investment to it. But to have that equal feeling when you hear something else as if you're in the room writing it is not normal.
It's a talent to be able to do that.
It's a talent to be able to do it, and also equally, he knows when it's not him. You know, but in the same way, he knows 1,000% when he hears it, it's him. You know. And
well, congrats to you guys. Congrats to Morgan. Congrats on the success. Congrats to everything you guys have going on. Let's talk a little bit about Ernest now.
Yeah.
Another member of Big Loud, but also DeVille Records, Cadillac Records, hitmaker extraordinaire, guru, genius. Hilarious individual. I mean,
one of the funniest
of all time. If he was a talk show host, I think he would do a phenomenal job. I think
phenomenal.
Now, granted, he's got ADHD worse than any human I've ever encountered, ever in my entire life, which is a part of his gift, not his curse. Guy can freestyle for about 25, 30 minutes straight. Just no questions asked, no problem. And during that freestyle, he'll drop 5 different songs that'll go diamond in them. And then people will just be ripping him basically and being like, there's a song, there's a song, there's a song. Special talent. He's the reason why I get to know you. And he's been helping me out with my shit. You've been helping me out with my shit. But how many Ernests are out there? And what is Ernest? If you could describe it to people that maybe say, well, he doesn't have the most amount of listens. It's like, well, this guy is influencing music basically all over the board.
Yeah, he's another one in my life that, you know, at times, for better or worse, I kind of call him my little brother in the business, because that's where, when we met, he was just this young kid who he got his first publishing deal. He hadn't quite found his success, and some people had introduced us because he was so unique, you know, and they thought maybe Seth might have an idea for him, and our friendship just grew and grew. I've signed him to 3 different record deals with the partners, meaning different stages in his life over 10 or 15 years. I've just believed in him so much. But I would describe him as a savant. Sometimes I jokingly tell people, if you haven't met him, he's an alien. You know, there's many styles of songwriting. I'm not sure if there's just these 2, but I would say there's like a freestyle style, and like a surgeon. And neither are right or wrong. I think for me, I've met way fewer freestylers. So when you meet one and they're as accurate as him, he doesn't just rhyme and ramble. He rhymes and storyline. He can turn King of the Hill on and put on mute and go in the Hank Hill voice and just start rapping whatever the show, what it looks like it's doing, and it just shows his brilliance. You know, it's effortless for him to do stuff like that.
Can you tell me a little bit about the songwriters? Because that is Nashville, Music Row. I got a chance to experience it. I am a huge fan of music. The show Songland was one of my favorite shows. I couldn't believe they got rid of it. It was a glimpse inside of like the super music minds and how a song kind of comes together. I actually sent an email to every one of the coaches from there saying, hey, I would like you guys to make my songs into good songs. Never heard back from any of them. Talked to Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll was like, Bubba, I got you. Let me introduce you to Ernest. Ernest brings me to this. That's how this has all literally come to be. But my fandom of music and not having a clue about the behind the scenes, because I don't come from a musical family. I never took a music class, never took a choir class, never was able to do any of those things. So learning about it all has been awesome and spectacular. Music Row in Nashville is one of the most powerful places in the business, obviously, but all of entertainment. And the songwriters are seemingly held up as the gods almost of the entirety, right? Is that inaccurate?
I would say so, and also because of that, well, I tell people a lot that in Nashville, the songwriters it feels like they run the town. Nashville is so unique because it's all together densely. I have people in the music, friends in the music business in New York, LA, or any other, London, where when they leave the office, they may not necessarily hang out with music friends. And in Nashville, we're all right there together in a super unique way. So sometimes I say on the best days, it feels like going to a college campus. I can walk across campus and see my friends. And so this dormitory is connected with this one in a publishing company. And we got a riff with this frat house over here, you know, because they've been punks or whatever it is. I say on the negative days, it's kind of like a theme park. You know what I mean? You can't always get out. That's why you see artists spend their work hours there maybe and take a break. But no, the songwriting community, Ernest, you mentioned, Hardy, he's a surgeon. You know, he can do a lot of different things, and he's great off the top, but he's an absolute surgeon, and maybe nobody better when he knows where the song is supposed to go. But yeah, the songwriters kind of run the town. Some of Morgan's best friends, for example, again, are some songwriters, people he's being creative with a few times a week for a few hours at a time. He'll add on a workout class with them, you know, maybe a Bible study, and I think you just kind of see how the creative partnership is very intimate, and you need to talk about more than the song sometimes just to get good at it together.
You know, us songwriters.
Big music star.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. It's been a fun process, though, learning about your guys' world.
Don't let you guys know on the show, but for people watching, don't let this guy play you. When we met, which, by the way, it's not like we have a ton of free time to make music with people just interested in making music. I'm not trying to suck up or anything, but kind of caught me off guard that day when, Pat, when you were going through your phone and you were showing me, you know, voice note on voice note of lyrics on lyrics on lyrics, some of it structured, some of which not, some of which had a hook and a concept. And I think that's what Ernest saw as well. And then not to mention your platform and willingness to try things that most wouldn't, you know, you take some courage to do that. It's not easy. It's a very vulnerable sport, to be honest.
Well, I appreciate you giving me effort and time and honestly investing your energy in it and travel. I mean, you've traveled up here multiple times. Boys love you. I mean, Bone, obviously, is Big Loud's biggest fan. I mean, he knows your entire...
Bone.
He already pulled the album that you gave us. He goes, I got a vinyl. Did you see this vinyl? 10-year anniversary, Big Loud vinyl. I had to be at the Christmas party to get this. Obviously, I wasn't invited to the Christmas party.
The first day you brought me through, I honestly said, this is the Big Loud of sports media. I for those in here that haven't been to Big Loud, come down because they're the songwriters, the creators, the people who help make the show, and it's the same for us.
Yeah, well, we're very thankful that you've invested, and I'm excited for the people to hear my story through songs.
When are we leaking the next one? What's the plan?
I don't know. We were up there recording this morning, though. Hey, I think you would know much better than me. I think we have a couple. People are thinking that, like, I'm not going to get into it. Dookie was a canary into the cave. That is what Dookie was.
It was a bold place to start.
It certainly was. It certainly was, but it was
I'm
available.
proud of it.
Yeah, because we went to Oregon a couple times. I mean, it just so happened to be, in there. But it's like, with your guys' brains and the music that has been around it, and I practice, a little bit so I don't ruin these words and these stories. But it's been like a pretty emotional journey through my shit through the last couple years of my life, last 20 years of my life, revisiting moments and like, when you journal, I guess, I've never journaled, but I've always wrote poems or bars or verses or choruses. It's like me talking to myself in there. So it's like these songs are very much like me going through different moments of my life and what I was telling myself or what I was trying to get out. So whenever I'm reliving them or recording them, it's all just so crazy to me that it's going to live on. That is kind of the weird thing. And if my daughter hears it, or my baby boy, I think they will be able to know exactly who I am through different stages of my life. So if I was to die, which is certainly possible, which you're going to hear me talk about a lot, you're going to hear me talking about a lot of death stuff in there because I never thought I was going to live long. I thought I was dead at 30. The fact that I'm 38 now is crazy. I never thought about life as a 40-year-old. And then now in the world that I'm in, I have people telling me they wish I was dead. And then there's other stuff that happens around the world. And it's like, I'm going to die. I think I'm going to die at some point. Okay, I think I'm going to die at some point. There's a chance I freeze myself.
I was going to say, shout out to Ted Williams.
I have looked into that. I have tried to look into it.
Hologram.
But
the catalog's going to live on.
I wanted this to out. I wanted all my shit out. I wanted my daughter and my family and people that maybe didn't get to know me or people that didn't know me or only read headlines from people that didn't know who I was and wanted me this is who I actually am. This is my fucking note section. And there's different parts that are mixed with different parts. So not everything's there. But you were hey man, I'll get your messages out, dude. You said that to me. You're very much hey, I will do this for you. So I'm very grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us do it. And nothing's going to happen to you, but if it ever does, your kids are going to know you made bangers and you were fearless to try something uncomfortable. And I think that's dope.
Bangers. We got a couple, right? Don't you
We
think?
do. I believe it. I believe it. You don't want to overhype the music, let the fans decide, but I think they'll be pleasantly surprised how good it's going to get.
Hell yeah. Let's talk about music a little bit more now and then. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Hell yeah. Speaking of bangers, I'm more throwback traditional country, Charlie Pride, Linda Martell, even Hootie, Darius Rucker. Obviously, we got the same name.
Thor
So
Strait.
you've been in a
GS,
you
Thor
okay?
Strait.
Oh, well, these are my favorite,
Oh,
my Rushmore.
okay.
But you talked about the parallels with sports and music, and I feel like you guys are kind of a big part of like evolution, and you obviously got to take a chance, and you'll hear a lot of noise. How's it been a big part of the change of country music as a whole?
It's been great. I mean, both my parents are still alive and watching what we're doing, and my mom is always great about hitting me and just sort of saying something very grounding, make whoever's important in your life when you're excelling in sports, reminding you because in and out of a football season you're excelling just by doing it. A lot of people don't realize that, So I think just being up at bat to play is is a special thing. But then taking a step further, I idolized Motown Records, Fuel by Ramen Records. Craig Wiseman, one of my partners, came up in A&M Records, and all of these, plus more, Sun Records, Stax. They were very specific cultural brands. They weren't just a major music company, which we have good friends there, but I think just by doing that in general, we were setting out to be different. And so the first band we had before the record label that we met was a country band named Florida Georgia Line. And yeah, let's start the petition.
Never heard of them.
Let's start the petition and bring that shit back. Maybe
Baby, make me want to roll my windows down and cruise.
when they're ready.
Papa, what is that? Is his fucking hop up in his truck? What is the
Brand new Chevy with a lift kit would look a hell of a lot better with you up in it.
Come on.
Yeah,
There it is.
Boom.
Yeah, fuck,
when
we should ask
when
you.
they're ready, we're turning the lights on back in Noblesville.
I saw
We're
them
gonna
take
blow-
pictures together.
I know.
I saw them take
know.
pictures together at the last event. Hey, we like that, boys. We like that. Would have not have happened, I don't think, 6 months ago to a year.
Baby steps, all the right steps.
Let's get them back in there. But Florida Georgia Line, I think, to D-Butt's point, contemporary country versus old school country versus what's pop, what's rock, what's what is kind of like the conversation around.
And they were so polarizing when it started. You know what I mean? With that band, you either loved it or hated it, and we learned over time that was one of their superpowers. Kind of talking to the guys individually recently, kind of explained to each of them, as you're both making music, I think that's awesome, but remember, it's kind of hard to chase your own tail here, because what you would make for either one of you individually is so different than the songs you should make for Florida Georgia Line. That's a buddy with my band. That's like Thursday night basketball. You know what I mean? That's what I do for guy time, and the songs should sound like that. They should sound like For the Boys in a way. And so yeah, we all kind of missed that in our A&R pursuit.
What do you think of? Because I think Hardy addressed bro country. I think there's been a lot of conversation about it.
Yeah.
Has that kind of settled down now that there's two different genres for awards? Because that's really what everybody was pissed off about, right?
Definitely. I mean,
Go on.
the fact that they're talking about you, again, like in your profession, it can be a good thing. If they want to label it something, that probably just means you really stood out in that decade. And, both Hardy and Earn, before they were artists, they were young, aspiring songwriters on buses that would travel with the Florida Georgia Line tours, because all of our paths crossed. And so we put those two guys in front of Brian and Tyler often. They were spark plugs in the room. I remember walking back up on the bus and hearing a demo that neither of the FGL guys had sang that night. And I'm like, who sang this demo? Like, the voice was just jumping off the speaker. And they kind of point to, at the time, I would describe him as dude on the couch, always sitting there really quiet smoking. And it was a very young, quiet Michael Hardy. I'm like, bro, I know you, but let's go for a walk. And just got to know each other. And eventually his aspiration grew. And, I feel like the songs are the most important thing anyway. So he had that unlocked.
And he goes from there to having a place wall to wall, and he's still ain't
sold out.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
And he ain't scared to put a dead buck up on his Instagram. He ain't worried about it at all. Obviously, incredibly talented, and all these people have been so nice to me through my entire process of trying to make my words become music. And you got a special group of people, man. The culture is good.
Is that where Bone was driving, the Hershey Pistol?
Yeah, 17 hours.
Meet and greet.
Yeah,
Okay.
meet and greet. And
VIP.
Bone also put together the Ernest songwriter playlist on Spotify.
Which has a ton.
Hey, Ern, here you go, brother. You're welcome. Here's all your songs in chronological order in which you have wrote them. Bone did that on his free time. And then Hardy, I'll be able to predict what your song order will be for your album because I know you better than you know yourself. And
he does.
And he did. Turns out he did. And that's bone football. That is bone football, but he's a fan of talent. And you guys certainly have that in abundance. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, so you just kind of mentioned it a little bit there, kind of the stars that are stars now, how they start out. Like in today's day and age, Pat's situation a little different, but
Sure.
how does that kind of go as far as seeing a guy who might, or a girl who's a songwriter, and then realizing like, okay, you're different. Like you can be a star. Is it going to bars in Nashville and just seeing who's performing? Is it people who are already within labels and kind of realizing like, okay,
Sure.
like you have something different? And is there like a specific look? Like is there anything like that also goes into it?
I mean, yes and no to all the above. There's no one or most common way that it happens. I think if I was to pick one of the most common ways, there's people that develop in the publishing companies, which that's sort of, if you're not familiar with the music business, that might be the sister company, if you will, to record labels. Record labels are for artists as publishing companies are for songwriters, many of which don't have artist aspirations. So their skill would be to pair them up with successful artists who may want to find new collaborators to write music together, maybe hear some of their songs even if they did or didn't write them. So Big Loud has that. We have a very dense publishing company, as we were talking about, and all the songwriters are there available to the artists if they want to work. So that's how Hardy and Ernest came up, right? They developed in the publishing companies. Morgan, we met him through a booking agent. He was with a group of guys in Knoxville. We're starting to play shows, and through a network of people was trying to get his now manager's dad at the time to be his agent. And he kind of put Morgan through this test. Like, would you play cover gigs at these bars for 3 hours straight, which is it's not what an artist wants to do. You want to play your music, get on hard ticket shows and all that. But he was more than willing to do it, put the time in, learn a bunch of songs in order to prove it, to just get this one guy's attention. I had Florida Georgia Line with him. And so he sent me an email just saying, I met this new kid, he was just trying to get him a co-write. And I heard the demo. The songs were, Morgan would even say, mediocre at best, but his voice just jumped out of the speakers. And, when we met him, if you've never met him, he's just a very down-to-earth guy, but when he gets rolling, he's funny and he's unique. And, he's just that, the way I talk, that first song that came out, was just very much his personality. So it happens a bunch of different ways, but I would say, at least for Big Loud, we definitely want to find the best creators we can. That's kind of something, if we're trying to be, if an NFL team has a certain way of guys they're picking up on their squad, there would be a few quirks that we might emphasize more in a weighted decision than others. And I think as far as
Patriots like super smart guys with Belichick, so that they can run 4 different defenses in one particular game. What you're saying is we're looking for good, obviously, but a trait that we would like is creativity.
Yeah, creativity, 100%. And then the look. There's no one right or wrong thing, but I would say the fans are the best A&Rs. And we've seen this happen over and over again, where like the unlikely physical appearance person has an insane skill set. Luke Combs, where, and I mean this lovingly, he would probably dog on himself worse if he was here. Like the guy that looks like he should change your oil has an incredible skill set, and I think that's almost what makes him even more believable.
Yes.
Sometimes we get the perfect looking artist, the amazing voice, but they may not believe the singer for some reason. We may be really high on someone and we just can't get them to connect with the fans. So that's also a subjective thing that happens from time to time. We have these all-star looking folks that...
How do you know when artists can't connect with the fans, like in that aspect, like Luke Combs, for instance, like if he sings a song that maybe if Morgan sings might do really well, but if it's coming out of Luke Combs' mouth, it might not do well. Like how do you even like gauge something like that?
Well, 2 answers. One, now with social media, if we're putting stuff out or putting videos, we can react with our eyes.
Sure.
We say that to our artists a lot because I never want to be a trite company. Like, go make music with your gut, your ears, your inspiration. Once we put it out, we will need to react with our eyes and see what the fans are gravitating to, because they're not wrong. Don't say they're wrong, because their habits are their habits and of their choice, But for me, behind the scenes, especially before we had social media to get a quick read like that, and this may sound very like cheesy record label guy, but there's a word I use a lot around the office. It's called frisson. It's a French word, which just means your body's emotional reaction to music, to something, a painting, a poem. You ever heard someone say, that just gave me chills? Mm-hmm. Supposedly, I don't know if this is true or not, supposedly everyone has a different amount that their body will let them do, right? So if I'm trying to give you an objective answer, like there's a lady in our company, our head of A&R, Sarah, one verse will make her just waterworks. But then there might be other people in other departments in the record label that may not have it. They can appreciate a good piece of music. They know why it might work, but they may not have that unexplainable body reaction. And so for me, that's kind of been my guiding light. I get it pretty good. You know, I don't go to waterworks, but if I'm listening to a piece of music, even if it's a party song, but I see images in my head of the music video or how big this might be live or the fans singing with it, it'll give me that chills feeling versus sometimes you can't explain why it just doesn't, you know? So I've missed songs that way too. Could have just been an off day.
Yeah.
You know, but for me, it just...
Your free song was low.
Yeah.
Free song. I more or less did a nap before I got here. So if I go up there and miss one, my free song might be on E.
No, we need you up there with good. Yeah, so you need to fucking lock it in up there with your free song. Free song, pronounced free son, is a French word adopted into English meaning a sudden, intense shiver, thrill, or shudder of excitement, fear, pleasure, or awe, often felt as tingling on the skin or chills down the spine, commonly triggered by music. Feels like you're in the right space. Art or elegant speech. It's a fleeting sensation, a mix of physical chill and emotional intensity, translating directly as shiver or thrill in French. And basically what they're saying is...
Yeah, bingo.
Here, wherever it happens to you, you know.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. All right, last question. Actually, we got two more. AJ has one from Ohio. I apologize,
What's up, AJ?
Dude, what's up, Seth? Hey, I'm wondering with all these like elite performers, all these singer-songwriters that you're around and that you recruit, like, is there a common thread through all them? Like, is there one or two things that the great ones all have?
Well, certainly songs, we covered that. But I would say if I was to mention something next, sort of the opposites attract thing that some people do. One of the best examples on our roster right now is an Indiana boy, Steven Wilson Jr.
Legend.
Right.
Fucking legend. This guy's story is incredible.
Incredible. And he says this. He describes his country music as Death Cab for Country. When we met him, there was no one like him. So, again, I don't know if there's a sports parallel there, a strategy someone has, but yeah, you know, I would personally rather sign the people that are going to be go big or bust, you know, because they're so unique. They're not, they don't just fit into a crowd, which you would think sometimes in signing music, you want to make sure you get things that you think has a high % chance of working. Perhaps we have a luxury of that because we've had a few that are on the board keep providing business. But, you know, we really look for the unique. And opposites attract as Steven does not exactly look how he ends up sounding. That's what I mean. That can also be in songs. Adele, Rolling in the Deep. It feels like a big positive melody, but heavy lyrics that just cut you like a knife. So that comes out in a few examples. But even in the human itself, I love opposites attract. We just did not see it coming. Someone very, you know, the human being is a
Hey,
unique
do you smoke
specimen.
weed, dude, or no?
I don't know. Every now and then.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Blame on Florida Georgia Line and Ernest if I do.
Yeah, well, certainly. And also,
And now Pat.
well, hey, take it easy. We're in Indiana. Obviously, whenever we're in states in which it is legal, we will certainly smoke all the time with the likes of Seth England. AJ, do you hear his brain, though, dude? Like, this is, I hate suits. Okay, sorry. I hate talentless suits. Okay, that is something that I don't like. I think it's a laziness. I think it's a ineptitude. You talk about nepotism. I feel like these people got to the positions that they're in strictly because of the network that they have, probably whenever they were kids with their families, everything like that. I just have that natural reaction. Now, am I able to be won over? Yes, I think I am a pretty fair person whenever it comes to that. But if you have like a drive and you say shit where it's like, wow, you've thought about it. Like you have spent time, not just at work when you're clocked in, you have spent time in your life focusing and thinking about this and provide a different idea or concept or a different way of looking at something. I don't want to say wooable, but I am certainly win overable. And I think once you win me over, I am ready for war with you, too. I think that is something that is very true. I don't know. I think it'll be judged.
Definitely true.
Whenever I'm done with this entire thing, you know, there's a lot of people that make anonymous quotes that have certain power levels to very powerful publishers and broadcasting companies and things like that have had jobs for a long time that I do not get along with because I think they suck at their job. At some point, they might have been good at their job, but in the modern world, I don't agree with them because I don't think they're good. And we are trying to. Okay, so I don't really get along with those people, and I'm not quiet about it either. I'm just like, this person sucks at their job. I am not working with this person. I've afforded myself with the boys the opportunity to say that and do that. That's how this is going to go. Well, that's not how it's been forever. It's like, well, I don't. That sounds like a you problem.
You would never do that to somebody that is has awareness and has drive and cares about their job. You wouldn't do that.
Care about their job is all. If you care about what you're doing and you care about putting something good in, respecting the position that you have. There's other people that wish they had your position.
Certainly.
If you respect the position, any position that you have, there is somebody that wants that. But if it's especially in this business, and you're in there, if you respect the position that you're in and try and want to care, I respect it. Even if I don't agree with you, I will. I think that is what history will say whenever I am and we are kind of done with how this whole thing goes. On that note, as soon as I talk to you, I tell boys immediately, I'm like, yo, this fucker's a thinker. This guy is a thinker. This guy is an executor. It is like, we are big fans of the way you operate, man.
Well,
and I think it's no suspicions on why Big Loud is successful. I want to let you, not just you, obviously your team, but you're a great suit, man. You are a good mind for our society.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual. You guys do not phone it in sports media. I'm not trying to just volley one back. It's clear and evident. You try every day to be different, and that's why you'll continue to have success.
Yeah, you just volleyed one back. Hey, this is our show, it's not yours. Okay, we'll compliment you. Ty has the last question for you.
Speaking of the success you've had, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Speaking of the success,
are you a Packers fan?
I'm a Matt LaFleur friend, a friend of the man.
Oh.
I support him. He's a Nashville guy for 1 year with Braves.
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
I mean, what the
Recording
fuck?
music with him?
I'm sorry. Did I just
LaFleur?
declare?
You got a fucking Patriots helmet right here.
Nope.
You
Braves
can't
for
say
6 years.
Go
Braves,
Vrabel?
I'm sorry. Braves for 6 years. Even more so, 6 years.
Whatever.
Wish we had.
But you didn't say anything.
I'm sorry.
You
Fucking
didn't say
shit.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead,
My bad.
Matt
My
LaFleur
bad.
guy, not a Vrabel guy. Just learned a lot today.
We did just learn a lot. That's okay though. That's not what we're talking
Go,
about.
Pack, go. Go, Pack, go. Okay, it's going to be tough down the road. You guys have lost a good player.
Yeah, without a doubt. But again, we can talk about that off the air. I am curious though, with how successful you are now. I would guess that most young up and coming artists, it would be a godsend if they could come work for you and be a part of Big Loud. Has it gotten more difficult now with, I assume, just more people, believing that they're right for you guys and very talented and all that kind of stuff? I assume you have to sift through a lot more stuff now. And going back to what you said about your culture, is it difficult finding people who will fit? Because I assume you are kind of coming in contact with a lot of very, very talented people that you believe you could make into massive stars.
Yeah, and maybe just like a roster, you don't have enough bandwidth or time for everything that you see that you think could be successful. You kind of just have to pick, of course, pay attention to what you have on your roster, maybe not have too much of one style yet. Styles can be of season, so you may have a few in that vein. A few ways we've grown but still felt local is we started an office in Austin, Texas called Big Loud Texas. That's a partnership with Miranda Lambert, John Randall, and Brendan Anthony.
Football player?
John Randall, no, but man, how awesome would that be?
Yeah,
If he answered the door.
He's going to get tarred.
Welcome to Big Loud Texas. Lock in. And then one of the co-owners of Big Loud, Joey Moy, as I mentioned, he has more or less started Big Loud Rock in Los Angeles, and the same things are happening there. I'm almost jealous of those two offices because they remind me of day one of Big Loud, where it was very cultural and kind of all in. I would say it's not a requirement that you get along with our roster, because not everyone's going to like each other. Again, in sports, no different. You're going to have little rifts even within the same team. Yep. But I think we definitely think to ourselves, how would that go? Because on the good side of things, if they do get along well, it's natural and the roster's attracted to them. Artists break artists. That is very true. In sports, you never do anything alone. So a good teammate you had put you in a position to win. So
artists break artists. What does
artists
that mean?
break artists. They do. They whether you take them on tour, whether you put them on a record, whether you just listen to their music. People want to know who they're listening to, and that's happened with Morgan. He jumped on the FGL tour a lot, as an example, and throughout the years he would then check in with me or other friends of his in the business. Who you working on? Always glad to be a good partner, and many shows where he didn't have to do that, continues to do that, and I think he picks things that he likes. We don't ever ask him to pick something he doesn't like, so it starts there. But yeah, we always check on that, especially being Big Loud. I think we're an all-together kind of company, so we see if the camaraderie can help, because it really can.
Well, I think it has. Country Radio named you the record label of the year. 2025.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
That's the OG building right there. Love that silhouette picture. Come see us in Nashville.
Yeah, they're in that building. They added on to it, I believe, right? Have you added on to that? Or
we had to expand. We're across 4 different buildings, but by mid-next summer, we're moving, for sports fans, a few blocks from the Titans practice facility in that part of town, if you've been over there for any sports shows or coverage or anything. But I'm hoping to keep that building, Craig Wiseman, if you're watching. I want to keep that building for some history's sake. even before Big Loud, Garth Brooks signed his very first record deal in that building when it was Capitol Records in the 80s. So I think it needs to be preserved and a lot of history.
Was I in the room where that happened?
Yes. That's Holman's writing room. He was passed on, and then the media room, he came back and he signed it there. And then all the Morgan music's been made there, Florida Georgia Line, and many, many others. So I think they should keep that.
AJ, I don't know if you've been through Music Row. What he just said about that particular building right there in Big Loud and what that is, across the street, hey, this building, Waylon Jennings recorded here. This, like, every building is like a museum. Music Row, you drive through it, and it's like, if you're with somebody that knows, and they'll have billboards outside of the current music that they have, and which their writers have created top ones and everything like that out front of it. But if you're with somebody that knows music, like Ernest is from Nashville and he's into music, boom, in that building, Elvis Presley, blah, 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 in that building, blah, and it's like one street you just kind of drive down, and it's like every single building. And inside of that building, all those buildings, at any time of the day, there's somebody in there just trying to do one thing, and that's make a hit. That's all anybody is trying to do is just make a hit. And it's a constant chase, I think, for every single building, constant collab, and it's like a really cool experience that you guys let me in on for like 4 or 5 days, and it was like, wow, this is all, every day they're trying to get in there and hit the Powerball. Every day you're walking in to all these buildings. 2 a.m. you drive by, there's a light on in somewhere. Somebody that headphones in trying to figure it out. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., middle of the afternoon, there is somebody in all those buildings just trying to make a hit and trying to chase the dream.
Very much. It's very cool scene, very unique.
And anything can happen.
And it does. When the Big Loud guys, a lot of writers on that balcony, you kind of, if you can tell in that picture, if they're congregated out there, maybe they're not in the same session together, and an artist drives by. This has happened on more than one occasion. The last one I remember, Luke Bryan stops in the middle of the street and gets out of his truck, and he's like, "Hey, motherfucker, write me a hit record today. Send it to me." And gets back in his truck and drives on, and I'm like, now see, that doesn't happen in London, I don't think. That's awesome.
Nashville is sweet. We appreciate how kind you have been to us, and hey, let's try to make a hit.
Let's go.
Well, you've already made a bunch.
We're going to go make more today.
Let me get the stats here.
Your teeth in Nashville.
Oh, God.
Yep, that's right.
Come see us in Nashville.
Hell yeah.
There really isn't much to do there. They come see you. They'll just be sitting outside. You guys got to figure out things for them to do. There's coffee across the street, I think.
Oh, nice.
You can get good coffee.
Too much to do.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, definitely drive by, see the Big Loud building, take the photo, and then, yeah, you go do Nashville. Yeah, you're right. There is a lot to do in that. What a city, dude.
What a city.
Fantastic.
You have a good city, Doug.
Great city. It's a great city. I grew up coming to Indianapolis, though. There's a lot of memories here.
Hell yeah. Well, hopefully
Thanks
we're
for the
making
time.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
boom.
I thought
You're
you
a
did
Colts fan, right?
Go ahead.
I was, and still am, by the way. But I didn't abandon it. I moved to Nashville. By the way, they were at Rose Holman in camp for many. How many years were you there at Rose Holman?
2. No,
Oh, 2.
first year, 1 year.
But many before that.
The
It was
Colts
many
were,
before.
yes.
Yeah. So I grew up in Illinois, but Terre Haute, Indiana was more or less my hometown. So I grew up seeing a lot of camp there. Became a big fan. RCA Dome a couple times.
Okay.
Very middle class family whenever we could. And then when I moved to Nashville, it was a year or two after that when the Peyton departure happened. So that, for a lot of
What's
Colts
that?
fans in that time, if we moved out of town, you might have lost us for a little bit. And then I still definitely, I'm happy as I've got to know Pat, cheer for him, and I think it's cool what's happening this year. The Phillip Rivers story is
Dope.
it's
Just getting
it's
started.
like the F1 movie. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
bring one of the
Don't
goats
get me
back.
started.
Except Phil Rivers ain't winning like Sonny Hayes. Okay, let's relax a little
Sonny
bit.
Hayes.
Yeah.
Seth, you have no idea what you just did.
The
Fucking love this
F1
guy.
movie, dude.
You don't
I fucking
understand.
love
I'm a
this
fan
guy.
now. I'm all in on Cadillac. Like, I want to ask you about music engineers because the engineers in F1
ahead.
are
What-
so important.
What was it Toby Keith said? I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And
Yeah,
that's Phillip
that's coming
Rivers
on
for 3
Monday
more
night.
weeks. Let's
Hell
go.
yeah. Hell
So I
yeah.
am. I'm locked in on this right now.
go.
Just hope he
Good story.
survives.
He
Yeah.
will.
Oh,
He will. He knows what
a
he's
dog.
doing.
He's a dog.
Yes, he certainly is.
Yeah.
But the F1 thing, I don't know if you know this, but our show, pretty notoriously anti-F1. Just because Indy 500's right here, Indy car and everything like that. Now, I just want to let you know, hold on though, Seth, big development here over the last couple of days. I don't even know if our fans know this. Darius Butler watched the docuseries on Netflix,
Yep.
became a G1 fan, came into this particular
F1.
program, and was shoehorning F1 shit into our show. I was getting disgusted. Everybody was.
It's gross.
Connor used to take his ears out and say, I'm not fucking doing it.
Yeah.
Connor watches this Brad Pitt shit. He comes in the other day. He's like, I'll tell you what, Cadillac's got a team. They're in Indiana.
It's a movie.
Yeah, it is a movement. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I am actually excited to watch it. Now, I'm only giving it one race. I'm not doing the whole. I'm here for a season, but I will give it one chance. I will give the Cadillac
Don't
team.
be the Monaco one.
Yeah, not the Monaco one, the first one. I'm doing the season opener, okay? Because think about how excited we are for like.
That's where you close. That's where you.
By the way, IndyCar for life. Like I grew up friends with Holman families. I didn't mean to overlook IndyCar. Like it. Come on, let's go.
See,
IndyCar was the original.
We're the pinnacle. We're talking the pinnacle.
From New England, like racing sucks. Like we don't have to play this. We don't have to do this shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Boston area. Just the four major sports. I mean, sure, the New England Revolution. Who gives a fuck either way though?
Right.
But when moving out here, like you get ingratiated in racing. Like you go to the Indy 500 once. It's cool. You get it. But
you meet some of the drivers.
Yeah, good
There's
guys.
go-kart tracks out here that have cars going 60 miles an hour. You know, as opposed to just where you're from, where it's like electric. Like out here,
The governor's off.
yeah, it's actual racing. It's like you learn more about racing naturally. In the Indy 500 is the world's largest sporting event every single year for good reason. So anytime F1 or
Legacy.
G1 was being mentioned on this show, based out of Indianapolis, Indiana, I felt obligated to say, get that shit out of here. And I used to have a team of people on my side. And now what I'm learning is you fucking put Brad Pitt in a onesie, put him in a fucking G1 car. All of a sudden, everybody
And he's a hero.
is all the way
It's
back.
not just Brad Pitt, though. Javier Bardem is a true,
That was a great point.
magnificent actor in this movie. But you understand, you understand the entire team. Like, I'm in. Listen how I'm talking. I sound like an asshole, but I'm telling you, all of a sudden I kind of get the whole entire thing, and I'm not going to try and woo anyone to F1.
Use the words. Use the words.
I will. I agree.
on.
It's the pinnacle. It's the
I'm
pinnacle.
not going that far yet. See,
I
not
haven't
going that
watched
far
the
yet.
reality show or the documentary piece on Netflix, but my wife and I went on our honeymoon in Italy this year, and we found out 3 days out that the race in Monza was the same days we were in Milan. So we went to the race. That was my first ever F1 race, and I realized that I'm just like forever changed. You know what I mean? I went to the pinnacle race.
I'm not going
to
that
start
far.
with.
I mean, I think Brad Pitt's fucking awesome in the movie, but do you
I'm
not
just saying I was there in person. I got to feel it. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not calling it the pinnacle until I watch a race because I've watched an Indy 500 race and it is so sick.
But the way they partied during the race, before the race, during the race, and after, and they're walking out in the track, like it's nothing like I've ever seen. It's a real event.
Well, congrats to you and your wife on getting married.
Okay.
She's a great lady. Family's awesome.
Thank you.
Unlike you turning on us as well. It feels like I got nobody. AJ, are we still?
You got me. You got me. I've seen the first 30 minutes of that movie. I will watch the rest of it. The movie could be great. It does not entice me to actually tune into a single file line, time trial.
This reminds me from the way everybody has reacted to this Brad Pitt movie. Remember that Netflix had a documentary that was turning everybody vegan? You remember that was happening?
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not watching it. And then everybody would be like, just be mentally tough. And then I watch another friend go down. Boom. I'm not eating burgers anymore. I'm like, why? Like, did you see the thing? I'm like, no. So I'm like, I'm not watching it. I'm staying out of it. I put the same exact rules on this Brad Pitt G1 movie. Okay, I love Brad. I really do. I will support the shit out of him, but I'm not watching it. I don't want to know.
I get it.
I don't want to know. Who cares that the Cadillac team, the American team, is 10 minutes from this fucking office? It's located. It's based 10 minutes from here.
It's fate.
It is literally right there.
They got the guys, too. The engineers who did some research into him today. The team principal, nonetheless, he's a legend over there, so I'm excited.
It's a great story. You don't think there's a script writer right now writing down this Phillip Rivers timeline?
Definitely.
And going, one day, it's the perfect Friday Night Lights scene. Rivers is coaching, his cell phone rings, and it's the Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
Can you get on the plane tonight?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's tonight.
Yeah, what you're talking about is turning people into Colts fans and football fans. I'm worried about seeing this fucking G1 movie and becoming a G1 fan. I don't want to do
watch
that.
March 8th,
Yeah.
Australian Grand Prix season open.
I'm pumped. I already got it in my calendar.
You know
You
the
didn't even
drivers?
know it was 13 seconds ago.
No. I knew it was in March. I just didn't know the exact date.
You had
In the month,
he
the whole
had no
month
idea
circle, he
what
knew it.
continent it was on.
I'm jacked. I'm a freaking watch.
Unveiling the car at the Super Bowl.
But still,
We'll be
IndyCar
there.
for life. I'm with you.
Who?
Thank you, Seth. And
Cadillac.
also, thank you for being with me during this musical journey.
Thanks for having us. Thank you for working with Big Loud.
Let's make some bangers.
What are we doing?
Fuck off.
We need to motivate.
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. Anything for the team here, Seth? Act like it's end of practice, when everybody calls it up.
Bring it up.
Big hits, launch small names. Small hits, slow down the big names.
Team on me, team on three. 1, 2, 3, team. Goodbye.